Folks, we're back. This is Steve Stanson and Stephanie Phillips with another episode of Veterans in Politics. Today we have Al Rojas, candidate for Nevada State Senate District number 21. But before we get to Mr. Rojas, Ms. Phillips.
Thanks for joining us, everybody, and thank you to our sponsors. We have Dr. Ari Nagy. He is running for Congressional District 3. His website is Nagy for Congress. That's F-O-R, nagyforcongress.com. Jump on his website and check out his platform. We also have Henderson's Mayor, Michelle Romero. She's running for re-election. Her website is votemichelleromero.com, votemichelleromero.com. And we also have Cody K. Whipple. He is running for Congressional District 4. His website is Cody K for Congress, and that's the number 4, codykforcongress.com. Get on his website and check out his platform. Also, don't forget to grab your copy of Steve's book, How to Navigate Nevada's Family Court System. If you are a litigant and you can't afford an attorney and don't have one, this is a self-help book, and it will help you navigate that system. You can get a copy on Amazon. It is $14.99. Also, we have a merch store. It's vipimerch.com, vipimerch.com. Jump on there. We have all kinds of fun stuff for you to check out. And don't forget to grab your tickets to our Valentine's Ball. It is February 7th of 2026. We have early bird tickets on sale right now until the end of the year, and then the prices go up to full price. So you will want to grab those now. For my rant, I think you guys saw this father. His name is Steve Federico, and he was testifying about his daughter that was killed in South Carolina. She was visiting friends. Her name is Logan Federico. She was 22 years old. And here is her picture. Mark, I know you can zoom in when the time comes. This poor girl was killed by this guy. And his name, he was arrested 39 times. 39 times. The guy's 30 years old. 25 of those were felonies. The guy barely spent any time in prison. 600 days. That's all. For 25 felonies. This guy's name is Alexander Devontae Dickey. This guy. So he decides to break into this home where Logan was staying with friends in South Carolina. She was on her knees. He executed her, 5'3", 115 pounds, 22 years old, for no reason at all, and killed her. And guess what? He has been out. All these judges, you guys are on the hot seat again. You guys that let these people out, just like that guy that killed Irina, where's she from? I can't think of it. Anyway, you guys on the train, you know that guy that killed her, DeCarlos Brown. These judges let these people out, and there's absolutely no accountability. And she was from Ukraine. That's what I was trying to think of. These judges, you guys should not have immunity. When you are light on crime and you let people out like this continuously, 39 times and 25 felonies, and this guy is on the street. He never should have been on the street. He should have been in prison, but he was let out and he killed this girl. And this girl's dad, Steve Federico, he testified and he is mad. And I would be too. So judges that are light on crime and you guys let these people out, you should not have immunity. I don't believe that you should, because you need to be held accountable for people like this.
You see, that's why we do what we do.
You saw that video, right?
I did.
It was incredible. It went viral.
And I always tell people to get involved, preventive maintenance. That way it won't knock on your door.
Yeah. Oh, and let me just mention this too. The judge in South Carolina, this guy, Byron Gibson, he hasn't even called the father. Nothing, hasn't said a word about this to the father, but apparently these people just keep getting let out on the streets. It's terrible.
Well, thank you for that, Ms. Phillips. Mr. Rojas.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you guys for having me here. I really appreciate it, and I really I appreciate the work that you guys are doing in the community.
Thank you.
I see you at our commissioners meetings.
Oh.
I see you. Our judges are very important. We don't want to let crime get out of control. And so,
You've been on the show before.
yeah, I was here about a couple of years ago.
Could you give us a bio?
Well, my name is Rojas. I'm 65 years old. I'll be 66 this month. I've lived in Nevada for 8 years now. I got up here about 2 weeks before the October 1st shooting in 2017.
Where are you hailing from?
Well, before that, I lived in Irvine, Newport, Huntington Beach area for 38 years, and I'm a degreed engineer.
You were in the beach cities, and you come here to the
Well,
desert?
the thing was that, nobody wants to see an old fart on the beach, 65 years old. So I was starting to feel out of place, so
He got
I
tired
came-
of the taxes over there.
Right, so I came
Hit
over
the
here.
buffet lines with
I
the
want to hear the
restaurants?
buffet lines, be around with all the retired people. Actually, I found a very nice spot up there by Lake Mead in Hollywood. And I saw the view down there, and I saw Las Vegas. And I go, hey, man, that's kind of like the beach, or that's like the Pacific Coast Highway of entertainment. And then I saw the boats going up to Lake Mead, and I go, hey, man, I'm kind of like back home. And I get to be young again. I get to be
What boats
18.
going up to Lake Mead? The ones on the trailer?
There's they go up Lake Mead. Well, we still had water back about 8 years ago. Now, there's.
You said Lake Mead in Hollywood. That's a rough area, isn't it?
Well, it's a little bit rough. We've cleaned it up a lot with our neighborhood watch group, but it wasn't that bad when I got there. And now we've definitely see what happened was when COVID hit in 2019. Even if you talk to our sheriff, Kevin McMail, what happened was that there was everything piled up because they couldn't go out there and do their job. There weren't enough judges, from what I also understand. So everything piled up, all the homelessness piled up, the crime piled up, and now we're starting to clean that up right now. Now that COVID is gone, and you'll get into that, what we've done with our neighborhood watch group. So it was a little bit of there is a little bit of crime in there, but we're coming down on it. We're getting it under control, and you'll see that in the interview what we're doing.
So you're running for state senate.
I'm running for state senate. Yes.
Could you give us the boundaries?
The boundaries of we start all the way over where Lake Las Vegas is, and we go straight down to Eastern from Lake Las Vegas.
Does it include Lake Las Vegas?
It includes Lake
Okay.
Las Vegas. We're part of CD4. Okay.
All right.
So we go to Lake, and that's that precinct up there has the most registered Republicans in all of Clark County. So we're part of that, and it comes all the way down to Eastern between Charleston and Desert Inn. So it's like a big rectangle. It's got a few little grooves in there, but that's basically what it is.
So you ran before,
Yes.
and you have lost significantly.
Well, I don't.
According
I
to
would
this,
Okay. Which year are you looking at?
2024.
Okay.
What is it? You ran for assembly last time. What district was that?
That was Assembly District 12, which is half of
Okay.
half of that.
And then before that?
Before that, I ran once, but I didn't really take it serious. I was just we didn't know who was going to run. And I ran in there in case we didn't have a strong candidate. I've been a Republican since 1974, 75, before Ronald Reagan was a Republican. And I know the Republican Party, I go, we don't have a strong enough candidate. I'll stand up. If we have a good one, then I'll support somebody else. Because I was never involved in politics. I got into it because of what you're talking about, the safety issue, that I felt that we needed better leadership for public safety. That's really my issue, my background.
So you've lost significantly since the last race.
Well,
according to this.
I got like 1,200 and something votes.
And you've been here 7-8 years.
Right.
You don't have a real strong ID, name recognition.
Okay.
I don't know about funding. I don't know if you have a team or a campaign staff. How you plan to win this election?
Okay, well, that's a good thing. So, I feel that Republicans look for the strongest conservative, okay? And Democrats look for the best deal they can get. And the thing is that I have to swing about 3,000 to 4,000 votes, maybe around 3,000. And our last candidate lost by about 4,000 votes, the last Republican that ran in this race 4 years ago. So I had to figure out this was not going to be like a race where who's the best conservative. It's you got to be conservative enough, and you also got to show the Democrats that our party has something can give them a better deal. And what we're hurting on the east side is public safety. You know, you talked about that, okay? And the thing is that what it is, if you look at, I really don't like to use this example, but it's an example that people are going to understand. If you look at New York City, when we had the what was the mayor there with the broken window? What was his name again? Trump's the guy that was with Trump. Anyways, the mayor.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
What was that? Koch.
Rudy Giuliani.
Rudy Giuliani.
Rudy Giuliani had, if you look at the open, he had what's called a broken window. Now, basically what that means is another word of, you got to take nuisance crimes seriously. What that means is like shoplifting, people, homelessness, people leaving RVs out on the street. These are all the things that are hurting our community. A lot of these businesses out there right now, like where we live at, is they're allowing these kids just to go in and steal, and they don't want to hire any security. And these kids are learning they're getting an education on how to be thieves instead of getting an education on how to be a law-abiding citizen and work through the system. They're working on how to go around the system. And that's one of the biggest issues those are the major reasons why a lot of our inner cities are failing, is because they let these nuisance crimes get out of control. You know, so that's why I started our Neighborhood Watch program. Okay, we've already cleaned up over 40 major encampments on the east side, within those boundaries that I told you, which would be eastern, between Charleston and Desert Inn, all the way up to the mountain. They don't really have a lot of homeless problems up there in Henderson.
Is that county commission? Is that C?
That's
District
yeah.
C?
My district, how 80% of it is in Clark County, and about 10 or 15% of it is in the city of Las Vegas, which would be under Olivia Diaz's region. Okay, so we've cleaned up over 40 encampments, over 20 RVs. We've shut down a lot of these overnight parties that are these we call loud, unruly gatherings. Okay, these gatherings, these home parties, they turn into shootings. They turn into people DUIs, reckless driving. People are going home. They get hit. You know, their kids are getting hit. They're getting in accidents, getting killed. And so we're taking that very seriously. Now, coming from Orange County, I know how to deal with all these problems. We lived on the beach. We had weekly rentals. We actually have an ordinance called LUGO, Loud, Unruly Gatherings Ordinance, where we control these things. If you start getting out of control, we'll shut your party down. Okay, so a lot of these issues, when I came in here, I was appalled. I go, why are they letting all these basic things go? Basic things being the nuisance crimes. And that's, if you look at Los Angeles, if you look at Chicago, if you look at New York City, if you look at Baltimore, that's the problem, is all these nuisance crimes, people are up to here. That's why you're having all these shootings. And it takes the community getting engaged and somebody working with the commissioners, with law enforcement, and our services like Public Works, code enforcement, and the health department to stay on top of these things.
Is that why you're at the county commission meetings?
Absolutely.
You're there pretty much every time. And then what is it that you testify or make public comment on the most?
What I'm doing is we have what's called an advisory board meeting that goes around all the major new construction that's being done in the area. So I go over there, I go to the advisory board meetings and the commissioners meetings to see what kind of development they're doing in the area. And my plan is that as we're developing it, we don't want homelessness to grow as our city grows. So we want to take best practices development so that we don't let homelessness grow. For example, Dumpster diving. That's a big issue for, it enables a lot of homeless people. People are eating trash out of these dumpsters. They go in these dumpsters and they leave a bunch of trash on the ground. Okay, unfortunately they're defecating in there. They are sleeping inside of those. So when we go in there, when they want to develop one of these convenience stores, which have, since we've been here prior to us being involved, these convenience stores are more convenient for the homeless and the criminals than they are for the community. And so we do best practices, like we want to make sure they got cameras on the dumpsters, that they have proper fencing to keep criminals out, that you have line of vision so if you see criminals coming in, and that you work with law enforcement's neighborhood watch program, which is countywide. And they come in there and they get some counseling from the community-oriented policing, which is COP, and they'll tell them and give them best practice. That's how we got started. We had a lot of homeless coming into our HOA, and then I called them. I went down to coffee with the cop. I told them we wanted to do a neighborhood watch group. They go, okay, we'll meet at your pool. They came. They told us, start a Facebook page. You guys start a private Facebook page. Set up 4 neighborhood watch captains. You guys start sharing pictures, and then all the people that are committing crimes, get them out. Call us for trespassing, and then and then we'll go from there. And in 2.5 weeks, we cleared out the whole area.
All right. I want to get back to last year when you ran for 8
Yes.
and 12.
Okay.
It was, you ran against Nancy Rucker, right?
Nan Roker, that's correct.
And
Nan Roker or Recker, I think you pronounce it like
She's
Recker.
running again for that district. Is
She's
that
running
right?
against
Yeah.
for that district, and I probably could have. Go ahead, ask your question.
and she got a 59.8%, and you got a 40.2%.
Right, and look how many votes. The thing is that if you look at how many percentage-wise, yes, but I got 1,200 votes. That's more. There's only
How
one.
many did she get?
She got about
Must have got 20
18.
something.
No, she only got 1,800.
Oh.
Go look at her votes.
Okay.
So we had our district, our district, we had the most of the highest turnout of Republicans, except for Assembly District 21.
So now you're running for state senate.
That's correct.
How many assembly districts are in your state senate?
2.
2 of them. What are you doing different?
That's what I'm saying. What I'm doing different is this time I'm going with Neighborhood Watch. I'm giving the community what we want. I'm running on public safety. What's the point?
Did you run on public safety last time, though?
Last time, I didn't even know who Nan Roker was. She was a dark horse.
But did you run on public safety last time?
Last time, I actually underestimated my opponent. I was supported by, and I am endorsed by Mark Robertson. So we did a couple of mail outs and did some door knocking, and I thought that was enough. And then I didn't know who she was. She was supported by Fleming Larson and a lot of the other people. And she was actually turned out to be more engaged on the Henderson side. I actually won 2 precincts in Henderson on my
How many
last election.
precincts are there?
There's about 20, average is 23, 25.
So she won 23 and you won 2?
No. I won about, there's about 20. I won about 8 of them.
Because I want to see what you're doing different than what you did last time.
This time, what I'm doing that's different.
Who you run against this time?
This time, I think that there's a guy named Michael Boris that's running.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm not sure.
Who's in that seat now? Who's
right
the
now
Democrat?
is Orenshaw, James Orenshaw, I believe.
Oh, okay. All right.
And is he going to be there in the general election?
He probably is. I think this is his last term.
And you think that you could beat him?
I think that I've got a good chance. I think that I got a swing about.
And what makes you think that?
Well,
because I know James's record. What makes you think you have a good chance of beating
Well, I think I can beat them because James Orenshaw has not done anything for public safety. He actually supported not this previous election, but not this previous legislature, the one before. He wanted homeless people to be able to live on your sidewalk, okay, and they'd have the right to come and stay in front of your sidewalk, and you couldn't get them out.
You know where he lives?
I know where he lives. He lives way up there on the hill,
Yeah.
and he's got a nice no trespassing sign. I was actually there when he
Mountain's
came.
Edge. Well, no,
Yeah.
was it Sunrise Mountain?
No.
He lives
yeah.
up in Sunrise Mountain,
Yeah.
and he's got in a nice, cushy area. And he went, and I had testified,
Nice view too.
and he had a nice view. And he goes, "I want to put a big gate to protect me." So he doesn't even care that all these, all the crime that's going on. His public safety record is zero.
So why don't you take a busload of homeless people and just drop them right off at his doorstep right
Well, it's at this point now we have a
there?
new.
Sandoval did it to San Francisco.
I understand that.
Press.
I understand that. But we've got a new ordinance now that I testified for that now you cannot encamp on public land. So he'd go over there and he'd just throw them right out.
On public land.
That's
that
on
wouldn't be
public.
public land, be private, right? Wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Put 'em
well,
on-
if you goes, well, the thing is that the way the law really is now, since we passed, because that's what we're about, is if you go before you could camp on public land, but not on the sidewalks, and it had to be public land like a park, like even some parks we had an ordinances, but it could be like on anything that was public. You could be on the sidewalk. As a matter of fact, you could stay on the sidewalk as long as you weren't blocking the whole sidewalk. That was the ordinance before. And so then we just passed a new ordinance, like in February of this year, where you can't block any part of the sidewalk and you can't be on anywhere that is public land. Okay. And you can always trespass somebody off of your private property. The problem is that to get them off the property, the owner has to be there. The homeless person has to be there, and the law enforcement has to be there because they have to have proof that you have trespassing rights. And what happens is you see all these empty lots, people live out of state or they live 30 or 40 miles away, and they don't have anybody there monitoring the site. That's why you see a lot of that's why you did see a lot of homeless. One of the things that we're doing is that we go to the empty lots, we get in touch with the owner, we get trespassing rights. So I could, or one of the neighbors could go over there and get them out because they're given rights by the owner of the property. But Orange Shaw, he had a bill where, he was going to allow people to camp on your sidewalk, on any public
Well, that
sidewalk.
was defeated, right?
It was
That was
defeated. Yeah, it
Yeah,
didn't
that
go
was a
through.
so
I don't really think he has a strong policy on public safety, which is what we need in our inner cities.
So other than public safety, that's a very important issue. But what are other things? Because at the legislature, how many bills go through there.
Education is my other. You look at my T-shirt. It says right here, increase education, reduce violence, increase prosperity.
Well, if I was your campaign manager, this would say, vote for Al Rojas.
I understand
State
that.
Senator.
That's correct. No, I'm gonna get that. But right
While
now,
you're out in the community, do you give out your RAP cards, business cards? Do
I
you
always
hand out
give out-
yard signs? So
I always
everybody
give
knows
out.
that you are
I give
running?
everybody out. At this point, I'm not really going to launch my campaign till the end of October.
So
Okay.
you have no cards in you now.
I do. Well, I have my neighborhood watch cards,
But no
Right
state
now-
Senate cards.
not the state senate cards, because see, the problem is that you could go out there. Let's say, first of all, I got to swing 33,000 votes. So I could go out there and talk to all the Republicans and say, hey, you know what? I'm running, and I could get 90% of the Republican votes. That's not enough to win. I got to get the nonpartisans. I got to get the Democrats.
Have
I
you
walk
started
up-
knocking doors yet?
Yes. If I walk
Okay.
up to a Democrat and a nonpartisan, once I win the once I win the primary, they're going to say, well, what are you going to do for me? I mean, what can you do for me that my party is not doing for me? I don't like Republicans. Well, is your party keeping your community safe? Were they able to get all these homeless? Now that I'm on a website right now, on a Facebook page that's got 8,000 people on the east side, I post there every day all the cleanups that we're doing. And that's my way of getting my name out in the community. If I go out there and say, hey, I'm running for state senator, they're going to say, so what? We don't like Republicans. We're a Democrat area. Now I'm going to say, hey, listen, you know what? A lot of people are concerned. Like you say you're going to be going to secret room. I'm not going to badmouth Tick because Tick is actually supporting me. But
well, we don't need to badmouth Tick. All we need to do is go around the district and show what the districts look like, just like we did with District F. It speaks for itself. We don't have to say a word.
You're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. And Tick is helping our community a little bit, but a lot of people are saying, congratulations, you're finally getting Tick to do his job, And
is he high when he's doing it, or is he
some
sober?
more too when we get to his district.
Well, no,
is he high or is he sober? Because I heard he's been high lately.
Yeah, well, he likes to smoke pot. He's a Bernie Sanders. He says he's Bernie Sanders. So he's made his telephone number available. Him and Kirkpatrick, and if it's something in their jurisdiction now, if it's public land, like if it's a sidewalk, or if it's a park, or if it's a freeway. With county, I can call them up and they'll get them out in a day or two. If it's private land, like let's say you own an empty lot and there's homeless on your lot. Now, if I don't know if I don't have contact with you, then my only alternative is to report it to code enforcement. They'll get a letter out to you and it may take up to 30 to 60 days to get it out because they'll threaten you. Well, they won't threaten you. They'll tell you got to clean it up. If you don't want to clean it up, then they'll put a lien on your home. They'll put it on your taxes. I just spoke with code enforcement. It's actually a lien. It's not on your taxes. I got to clarify that. So the thing is but I mean, I just had to clean up. I sent a message to Tick on Monday, and by Tuesday he took down this major encampment over there on Judson and Lamb. So, and then also we had another area over there behind Samstown, is that what it's called? Samstown. And then he went and cleaned that up. So on the public land, on county land, the county has jurisdiction. Now that we've built up this rapport, and now that I know the rules, see, it's like the laws. A lot of the laws are there to clean this up, but they have to be enforced, and somebody's got to step up. The county doesn't drive around and say, "Oh, that's an enforcement." Somebody has to report it.
Well, don't you think code enforcement should be driving around?
I think that's a possibility. I think they should be. I think they.
What do you? I didn't hear wife and kids in your bio. Did you?
No, I'm single. Yeah.
I'm
single.
Okay,
He's single.
Hold on. Let's go back. So there's a lot of other issues that the legislature deals with.
Right.
We had bad gun laws up there. We have had education issues. We have had violation of First Amendment rights in SB 432 and AB 416. I can't remember the school bill, the bad book bill. There's a whole bunch up
That's
there.
right.
So what are the other issues?
The other issue that I have.
Hold on. What are you going to do for the residents other than public safety and the things that you've already talked about?
Okay, first of all, the problem that I'm seeing with our Clark County school education system or our education system is that it's top heavy. There's most of the money is being allocated to the administrators and to the people who are administrating the education, not to the teachers and not to the kids. What I want to do is appropriate money to the teachers, to the kids directly. The legislature has been very clear that once they give the money to the school board, they can't tell them how to spend it, and that's partially true. In the last legislature, we've had the legislature allocated money specifically for teachers in our on our charter schools. Okay, so I want to create legislation that's going to directly allocate the money to our teachers and get it to the kids and keep the money away from a lot of these administrators. There's like 5 principals. There's all these and the kids. What about the kids?
Is it going to be like that marijuana bill? The one that they say, make it recreational. We're going to give all the money to education, and that never happened.
But they give it to education, but who does it go to? It probably goes to the administrators.
They never went to education. That's
Exactly.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, right. So the thing is that now, Henderson, the thing is that we already know that the best, what affects a kid's future the most and community safety in the long term is getting kids to read. A kid that can read adequately by the third grade has a higher chance of staying in school. We want to keep as many kids in school, and that's the problem with our inner cities. Our dropout rate's over 10%. We want to keep as many kids in school and as many kids off the streets, because the kids that are on the streets, they get into crime, and that's when they start their criminal career and ruin their future.
Should the district be broken up?
Absolutely, it should be broken down.
How many pieces? 3, 5?
I
2?
would, that's a very good question. I haven't thought about that at that point, but I think it should be. I think it could be better managed if it's smaller and more money allocated to the teachers.
Do you think the funding should go to the parents and students, and they choose where they want to go instead of
there
to
should
the
be
school?
more of that? Okay, let me tell you why. At first, I was against it because I'm going, well, wait a minute. They only get 8,000 or 9,000. Most of the school choice, like private school or all these school choice programs, it takes anywhere from $12,000 to $15,000. So how can you pull out your kid? Well, there's partial funding. So
8,000 is better than nothing.
that's exactly the point. So if you got 8,000, if you want to give your kid a private education and you want to fork up an extra 4,000, that's help, and it creates competition. So I totally support that. I don't think that school choice is going to put public education out of business. I think it's another option for the parents that want to do that. I think it's going to create competition. A couple of the people on our school board have supported that, and I would support alternative forms of education.
Should those teachers be fired that said those horrible things about Charlie Kirk?
If
Did you go to that last school board meeting?
I went to the last board meeting. If they're saying it in the classroom, yes, they should be fired.
Online, no. If they just said it online.
Let me finish. Okay, so your First Amendment rights, okay, I did the research on this. You're allowed to petition the government, but if you have a contract with your employer, they can limit your speech. So if it's online and they say something that could affect the integrity of your employer, it depends on your contract, how your contract is written, then yeah, you should be fired. If it violates your contract, that's an open and shut case. I have a background in contract law. I took a contract law class in college that would apply towards a law degree. If I wanted to get a law degree, it would apply. So I've never lost a contract law case. Okay, so and I've litigated it. So if it's in your contract,
Are you an attorney too?
No, I'm not an attorney.
Oh,
but
so small claims, you represented yourself?
I represented myself in small claims, and then since I owned my own software business, so I took a class in contract law because I didn't want to get sued and I didn't want to go pay a bunch of lawyer fees. I wanted to make sure if I wrote a contract that it was going to be a fair contract to keep us out of court, something that we can that was going to be fair. So so I know if you have a contract with your employer and it says we're going to give you a contract, but you can't be drinking a Pepsi on TV, and you do that, well then guess what? You're going to get fired.
How about just human decency, ethics, morals, character, when these teachers are in front of children who see this stuff online? So regardless of what the contract says, how about a teacher that says no one better could have been shot in the neck? Comments like that, to me, if those people are in front of children, there's something wrong with this up here.
Absolutely.
So they should be fired.
If you're in that situation, in that scenario, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Now, on you were also asking about social media. If it's going to affect, if their students know, or if it's going to affect the kids in a negative way, they probably should be fired. I'm pretty sure it's in their contract. I'm pretty sure that's in their scholastic contract. But if you're blatantly in front of a teacher, or you go up to a kid, or you're talking to your kids and you're going, that's great, that guy should have been shot, I mean, you should be fired like right on the spot. You shouldn't be, because kids, everybody can be influenced. Kids, they don't know the law. They don't know all these things that I just said about contract law. They go, hey, you know what? It's right to go kill somebody. and that we don't want to be telling our kids that. It's never right to just go kill somebody because you don't agree with their views. We have freedom of speech. You shouldn't be, oh, I don't agree with you, I'm going to kill you. What's up with that? That's totally wrong.
Do you have any more questions? Ms.
Oh, yeah. Rapid fire. Red flag laws. What do you think of those? Quickly.
Red flag laws.
Yeah.
I have to look at it. Depends, if you really got a bad mental problem or something and it's obvious, then there should be some kind of limitation. But I'm not very strong on them. There are some exceptions that are, if you've got really.
The way they're written now, though, in law, what do you think about that?
Well, there's so many of them.
Overreaching?
I think at this point, they could be overreaching, yes, in some circumstances. There's a lot of them out there,
What about corporate fees, business license fees, all these fees to start up a business and all that we have to pay? What do you think about those?
No, those should be coming down. Those are too high. It should be, our business fees should make it so that people can get out there, work, and contribute to our tax system and to be able to pursue happiness. If you want to be a self-employed person, you should be able to go out there and be able to start a business.
Property tax, gas tax.
Property taxes, I do not agree with raising property taxes. No, that is still, I'm a homeowner. My parents own real estate. No, property taxes should not be raised. What was the other tax you said?
Property tax and gas tax.
Gas tax? No, I do not agree with gas tax.
Voter ID.
Voter ID, I support voter ID. Ask me what you want, what we should be doing about our water problem.
How about that?
Okay, the water thing is that's
and what kind of jurisdiction or say does a Nevada state senator have as far as that goes?
As far as what?
Water.
Okay, well, that's pretty tough. That's a very good question. Do they have
any say? Do they control any of that?
No, but I have an idea. Okay, a lot of people in our city, in the county, and the state are saying that our water prices are going up for people that are residents, and that a lot of these corporations that are these developers that are building properties, they're getting all this water and they just throw water on they're just throwing water away. And how come they're not getting charged? I think that.
You mean for dust control?
For dust control.
They're required to do that.
I understand that.
So whoever made that ordinance or law or whatever, then they're the ones telling the builders to throw water all over.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I get that. So the thing is that, so they're wasting water. And also they're using up our water, the more we develop. I do believe that we should be starting a fund where if you're a developer, and it is going to raise the value of our of what you're going to pay for a property, but we got to start thinking in the future where you have to pay some kind of a fee that's going to go to some kind of a slush fund where we can either, in the future, we'll either use that money to develop a water reclamation, water desalinization with California, where we'll do a trade, or that Nevada, it costs us 1/2 the cost to produce electricity than California, where we can do some kind of a barter, where we'll develop electricity and sell it to them for some kind of swap where we get more water rights. But we have to start. We're going to be building.
Is that up to a senator, though? Is that up to a state senator?
I think that we could create a law that says, you know what, we're going to create a fund, just like they do with the pot. We're going to get the pot and we're going to use the taxes supposedly for education. We're going to use this fee to develop, to have a slush fund where we can create some kind of a water swap. And then, because from what I understand, the federal government told us that you guys got to figure something out between yourselves or we're going to step in. I think that's the last thing I heard that Trump told, basically the federal government did. So I think there might be a room for negotiations on that.
Well, Mr. Rojas, we're running out of time.
Okay.
Mark's going to zoom in on you, and
Okay.
then you could do the final, whatever you want to say. You can vote for me, your point of contact, and stuff like that.
Okay. Are you ready? Okay. My name is Al Rojas. I'm running for Senate District 21. If public safety is important to you, if you want to get your kids better education, if you want somebody that's going to tackle the water problem, and I'm your guy. Public safety, education, and water will be my main focuses as a legislator.
Point of contact.
Point of contact, you can contact me on my telephone number, 702-743-3405, or follow me on Facebook, and you can always send me a private message. Al Rojas, I'm on Facebook.
Do you have a website yet?
Yeah, I have a website, but it still has the old designator. It's Al Rojas for Nevada.com. That is Al Rojas for Nevada.com.
Well, Mr. Rojas, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Phillips, thank you so much. Folks, that's Al Rojas, candidate for Nevada State Senate District number 21. And we hope that this program has been informative and you learn a little bit more about Mr. Rojas' run for State Senate District number 21. This is Steve Sampson, Stephanie Phillips with Veterans in Politics. Don't go away, folks. We got another show coming up.